fourth and final opening round matchup here in the Salt Lake City region for TBT 2019. It's the 3-seed Team Fredette, the hometown favorite, against CitiTeam Blazers from the Drew League. Alongside former NCAA head coach Richie Schuler, I'm Sam Farber. It is a pleasure and a privilege to have you with us here tonight. Richie, Team Fredette's definitely going to have fans behind him. Jimmer Fredette's part of the organization for this. A lot of BYU Cougar alums. But CitiTeam Blazers has a couple of really high-quality former NBA players. This is no team to sleep on.
And we've seen one Drew League team, the LA Cheaters, already make it to the second round. Team Fredette, the semifinalists last year. We keep talking about two TBT runner-ups in this regional. How about Team Fredette, a TBT semifinalist just a year ago?
I think it's safe to say if Team Fredette were in another region, they might be the 1 seed. They certainly wouldn't be the 3 seed. Let's take a look at how this bracket is shaped up so far here in Salt Lake City. We saw Eberline Drive, our defending runners-up, come out here to Salt Lake City, get a scare from one of these hometown alumni teams, Team Utah, but able to squeak one out, get the win, and move on. Elsewhere, we've seen Challenge ALS kind of have the easiest run into round 2 with a 72-66 win over the Utah State alumni group from the Utah Stallions. LA Cheaters won a thriller on a tip slam to win it over the Sons of Westwood, and now that fourth and final position in round 2 is at stake between these two squads. How about the rules of TBT 2019? Well, first and foremost, you got 36 minutes, potentially, of basketball, 4 9-minute quarters. The Elam ending we'll talk about in a moment. Players have 6 personal fouls to work with after your 6th.
Can you hear me on the guest headset?
5, or should say the 5th foul of each quarter will become bonus, so that's an automatic 2 free throws, whether it's shooting or not. In terms of goaltending, you've got the international rules, so any player can make a play on the ball once it hits the rim, with the exception being on free throws. Each squad will have 4 timeouts, including 1 user to lose it in the first 18 minutes of play. And then, maybe the best part of TBT, the Elam ending. First dead ball under 4 minutes. We turn off the game clock, add 8 to the leading team score, and that's your target number. First team to reach the target wins the game. Team Fredette ready to get underway. The big F of the Fredette logo. And our starting lineups are presented by Air Force Reserve. Explore your opportunities with the Air Force Reserves. Great as Jimmer Fredette was at BYU, the all-time leading scorer in the program is Tyler Hawes. He's in the starting lineup with Josh Adams, Steve Zach, Rob Gray, and Kenneth Thornton. On the other side, the CitiTeam Blazers, they are multiple-time Drew League champions, and they're going to be led by Jordan Hamilton, who we've seen in TBT in years past. Last year, played with Team Challenge ALS. He's in the starting lineup with another former NBA guy, and Jeff Adrian. In fact, a couple of them. Malcolm Thomas has NBA time as well. So does Jerome Dyson. The only one who doesn't is Kyle Gibson, and all he did last year was average 18 points per game in TBT. So this is a loaded, at least first string for the CitiTeam Blazers.
No, not too shabby right there. And I think this two teams, this is going to be a heck of a battle. We're 3-6 seed. 2 teams from Utah have struggled. They've not won. Well, they didn't struggle, actually. Team Utah was right there for the win. They lost on a buzzer beater, or an Elam ending target score beater, as I should say. But Team Fredette has a tough challenge in front of them, but a Utah team that could advance. And we all thought Jimmer Fredette might be playing. We thought he might be tricking us. He's on the bench right now.
Sitting next to head coach Dave Rose, who just retired after 14 seasons at BYU. First bucket goes to CitiTeam Blazers. Malcolm Thomas, 30-year-old out of San Diego State, gets us going. And Team Fredette can't answer. Good defense from the Blazers.
Again, this is a team in the CitiTeam Blazers that play together quite a bit. These players know each other as Jeff Adrian gets to the basketball, or gets the basket for 2. 5-year NBA veteran. And CitiTeam Blazer, a group that plays together quite a bit every summer in the Drew League. Or Team Fredette, a lot of these guys are familiar with each other from their days in college and whatnot, but probably don't play together nearly as much as the CitiTeam Blazers.
Rebound to Team Fredette. Many have BYU ties, but not all do. The bulk of the team played in a different college program, but obviously Jimmer putting together this squad. Got a deflection, and it's going to stay with CitiTeam Blazers here. An early 4-0 lead. There's head coach Dave Rose. 14 seasons at BYU, just retired.
I just went up to him and said to him, hey, why did you retire? You're still back coaching. He goes, I'll tell you why. I didn't have to go recruiting this month. I didn't have to put this team together. And I got to sleep early last night. What a great coach, though. Over 300 wins in his career. Multiple NIT appearances. NCAA tournament appearances.
Made the Sweet 16 in 2011. And personally made the Final Four as a player with Phi Slamma Jamma.
Yeah, 72% win percentage, was the 7th best in the NCAA among active coaches when he retired just a few months ago. But Coach of the Year awards, Mountain West regular season titles. Terrific basketball coach.
Team Fredette still looking for their first points, and they'll have a shot to earn them at the line. Rob Gray fouled on his way in. Fouls on Kyle Gibson, his first. Gray, an elite scorer out of Houston. He's a TBT rookie, but he was a 2-time All-American Athletic Conference first-team selection in the last 3 years. So, young guy with a bright future. Game of basketball.
No, Rob Gray was the guy who dropped 39 points for Houston in the game, a year or two ago against San Diego State. And a game-winning layup in that NCAA tournament first round. If you remember, San Diego State lost on that buzzer beater.
Four to 2 in the early action. 1 spot left in round 2 here in Salt Lake City. Jeff Adrian wants it. Big man out of UConn hits the 3.
11 points, 8 boards a game with the Bucks back in 13-14. 5 seasons in the NBA with 5 different teams.
Offensive rebound for Team Fredette. Nice move inside for the cutting Rob Gray, and he'll head back to the line. Fouls on Jordan Hamilton. Gray will head to the line. His winning share will be sent by Zell. 100K is what he would be due. Gray, perfect 4 for 4 from the free throw line. Makes it a 1-possession game very early here at the Maverick Center just outside of Salt Lake City, Utah. Jeff Adrian fouled on his way up. Adrian, a TBT rookie. He's had so much success elsewhere in the game of basketball. 1,600-point scorer in college at UConn, 5 NBA seasons. You mentioned, good international player. This will be his first taste of the TBT. So far, seems to like it.
And what's neat about this team here, the CitiTeam Blazers, is that almost the entire roster grew up playing against each other since they were kids. You know, whether it was through AAU, basketball throughout LA somewhere, travel ball, high school. Some even played together or against each other in college. So they kind of epitomize Los Angeles basketball. A lot of camaraderie, a lot of respect amongst the players. And a lot of these guys are lifelong friends. So it's neat to see another group of players come together that have known each other from being near each other throughout the course of their lives.
First jumper goes down for Team Fredette. That's 2 Holloway. Lethal scorer at Xavier University out of the A-10. Both these sides have a lot of scoring power. Jordan Hamilton included in that. He kicks it outside. 3-ball on the way. Perfect.
And see, if you're Team Fredette, that's the shot you want to give up. A contested 3-point shot. They did great. They took away the inside post. Hamilton had to kick it out. And that is not what you want to see if you're Team Fredette. CitiTeam Blazers really just taking control.
Malcolm Thomas 4 early. A big 2-handed stuff. Gray fading away, cannot connect. Rebound to Jeff Adrian. Blazers doubling up Team Fredette early on. Thomas has the dunk, and now he's got the triple.
All around talent here. You have good athletes. You have guys that are long and athletic, can rebound. You got post players on the City Team Blazers squad. You got three-point shooters. They're displaying all of it here early.
2, Holloway misses the 3. Thomas another board. 15-6. City Team Blazers trying to make it 2 Drew League teams into the second round. Jerome Dyson, no. Rebound goes to Steve Zach. Drive by Gray. Might have gotten fouled, no call. He still lays it in.
A transition.
Missed 3 for Jordan Hamilton. Here's Zach in transition, and it's a blocking foul. Kyle Gibson will pick up his second.
So Zach catches the ball here in motion, and that's a good call. Looking at it live, it almost looked like a player control foul. The defense stepped in, but they moved their feet in the process, and that's why the charge is called. It's always good to remind people about this team being an open application tournament. And John Mugard, the CEO, founder of the TBT, done a great job of really publicizing this event over now in its 6th year. And it's really cool to see teams come together in different ways. Like here, City Team Blazers is a Drew League team, big-time summer basketball in Los Angeles League. Team Fredette, a lot of guys from BYU and other places. And, you know, you have people from neighborhoods that came together. You have alumni teams from different schools, 23 to be exact. And it's cool to see them come together in different ways. Anybody can apply. And it's all about getting to Chicago in TBT Championship Week and competing for that $2 million prize.
Thomas steps into the deep 2, has it rim out. Ledbetter works it around. Open 3, Gray, no. Rebound to Jordan Hamilton. This Blazers team doesn't have nearly the number of bodies. Team Fredette goes about 3 deep. But that first group is as good as any starting 5 in this tournament. That ball's turned over now to Team Fredette. What do you think about the Fredette jerseys?
There's not too many jerseys I don't like. I like it. The big F for Fredette.
You got Fredette kind of stenciled in along the legs on the shorts.
That's cool. Yeah, I do like those shorts.
Three ball on the way from Jalen Bland, off the mark.
UC Riverside product.
It's Jordan Crawford. Gives to Sharma, the former Stanford Cardinal big. On rebound to Gray, he's left alone. Still can't get it to go. It's a lid on the rim right now for Team Fredette, particularly from deep. They're 0 for 5 from distance, but City Team Blazers has been able to connect a couple of times. They've had the 3-ball working, and they've got the 6-point lead. 15-9. City Team Blazers trying to make it 2 for 2 for the Drew League. $15-9 the score here in favor of City Team Blazers. TBT 2019, the $2 million winner-take-all basketball tournament, is presented by Puma Basketball. Sam Farmer, Richie Schuler here with you at Maverick Center just outside of Salt Lake City. Second weekend of TBT action 2019 underway. And we'll have 2 more games for you tomorrow, and then our regional championship on Saturday to determine one of those 8 spots in Chicago and who will move on to compete for the $2 million. Rashad James missing a 3, and the cold start continues for Team Fredette. 0 for 8 now from beyond the arc. On the other end, Jeff Adrian fouled as he went up, and he'll head to the free throw line.
Well, Jeff Adrian's been everywhere. It's impressive how he plays. Played in Israel last year. You talked about his 5 years in the NBA. How good a player he was at UConn and Final Four appearance in 2009. But UConn, 15 points, 9 boards a game as a junior. 3rd all-time in UConn history in rebounds, over 1,100 rebounds throughout his career.
Jordan Hamilton will take a seat. Adrian goes 1 for 2. It's 1 for 4 at the free throw line, so he's having difficulties at the charity stripe. Team Fredette's having a lot of issues from three-point land. And they're going to take a moment to wipe up the floor here.
It's a wet spot.
CitiTeam Blazers. Head coach Rod Shannon, a multiple-time Drew League championship winning head coach. Team Fredette's got Dave Rose, who's just recently retired from a long career at BYU. A lot of star power on both teams, on both benches. Right now, the advantage lies with CitiTeam Blazers. 3 ball goes down for Jalen Bland, former UC Riverside Highlander, making his TBT debut here in 2019.
He was big time at UC Riverside. I worked many of his games. All-time leading three-point Division I record holder in three-pointers, about 100 threes that season. Did they just call goaltending, but then realize that, hey, this is FIBA rules when it comes to goaltending?
I'm not completely sure he did. Well, maybe he did.
Well, that's fair game. You can touch that basketball as soon as it touches the rim. We're in FIBA rules, so.
They're going to take a look at this. This is close, because if the ball comes back down and is back on the rim, is it okay in international rules?
The rules state, and we talked about it in the open, once the ball touches the rim, it's fair game. It is fair game. You can touch the ball. As soon as it touches the ring, it's fair game to do whatever you need to do.
I'll continue to take a look. I think the initial call now on the floor is going to be that it's no basket. And now they're saying it's Team Fredette basketball. I'm not quite sure how they came to that one.
Huh.
So it ends up being an inadvertent whistle, which means a jump ball, and that's how Team Fredette ended up with a basketball. So a tough break for CitiTeam Blazers, who gets the stop anyways.
Well, yeah, these officials do a lot of college games in the area, so they're used to calling that goaltend call, so it might just been a minor error on one of the officials' part. They're not used to calling, or not calling, what would we call as college people, goaltending.
Fouls on Jordan Crawford. I'll put Jerome Dyson at the line, another UConn alum who had a cup of coffee with the New Orleans, I think, Hornets then in the NBA back in 2012. Last year he played in China and Israel, averaged 17 points per game. This is a 6 seed. I'm having a hard time wrapping my head around this being a 6 seed, Richie.
Well, you know, the 8th seed, the team Utah, was pretty darn good too, you know. And again, because it's an open application, because players have to pay for travel in these first rounds, you know, a lot of times the roster isn't quite as full on game days as what it may be on paper. So, it changes the structure of the team a lot of times.
Thomas hits the first. Team Fredette, meanwhile, on the other end, in a dreadful scoring drought. They are 0 for their last 6.
Somebody's got to stop the bleeding. Is Jimmer going to come out of the locker room at halftime?
He might not be enough. Team Fredette has missed all 9 of their three-point attempts. That one's going to help. Devontae Pollard going to try and get 3 the old-fashioned way.
Way to do it emphatically. Another Houston player. Great pass. And a good dish down inside for the slam dunk. You see the upper body power from Pollard. High school All-American in 2012, Parade Magazine All-American first team at a high school. Played his last 2 years at Houston. Started out at Alabama and has played on different continents professionally since.
Clinton picked up that personal foul. Still a 10-point lead for CitiTeam Blazers. Jordan Hamilton drops in the triple.
First-round pick by the Dallas Mavericks in 2011. And what a career he had at Texas.
Now traveling on the other end for Team Fredette. Jordan Hamilton, 26th overall pick in 2011 by Dallas. 4 picks ahead of Jimmy Butler.
How about that? That's crazy. Well, I mean, he's had a good TBT career, too. I mean, last year he was 14 and 10 to go along with 3.5 assists, 3.5 steals. He ranked 2nd in steals and 6th in rebounds last year. Playing for Team Challenge ALS, get that, Jordan Hamilton.
Yep.
But back in 2015, he played for the Wrecking Crew. 26 points a game he averaged for the Wrecking Crew.
Well, he's only 28 years old. He might not be done yet.
Oh, no.
In terms of his NBA career. Lob pass for McClinton. Wisely taps it out. Bland, corner 3, yes.
What about the tip pass by McClinton to the perfect player to shoot the ball, and Jalen Bland at a UC Riverside.
CitiTeam Blazers are 6 for 13 from deep. Team Fredette is 0 for 9.
Team Fredette's got to continue finding ways to score outside behind the arc.
There you go. 3 finally goes down. Rashad James from White Plains, New York, the first 3 of the day for Team Fredette. A semifinal squad in the 2018 TBT trying to find its legs right now. Less than 10 seconds left in the quarter. Jerome Dyson. One-on-one with Crawford. Dyson into the lane, gets it to go and beats the buzzer. A near perfect quarter for CitiTeam Blazers. They're doubling up Team Fredette 30-15.
Well, the CitiTeam Blazers just doubling up on Team Fredette, and they're doing it by shooting the ball with their athleticism on both ends. But McClinton's tip pass on that errant pass to Jalen Bland for the three-point shot. That's what it all is in a nutshell for the CitiTeam.
TBT is taking over Chicago for championship week. 8 teams, single elimination, $2 million, winner take all. August 1st through the 6th at Wintrust Arena. Visit thetournament.com/tickets to secure your seats today.
Overseas elite trying to make it 5 straight TBT championships, but perhaps one of these teams could get in the way. Team Fredette made it to the final weekend of competition a year ago, and CitiTeam Blazers has as loaded a front 5 as any team in this tournament. Sam Farber, Richie Schuler here with you in Salt Lake City, and as we start the second quarter, Blazers turn it over, but doubling up Team Fredette thanks to their three-point prowess and the three-point deficiencies of their opponent.
Yeah, they're 6 of 14 from behind the arc, and they only have 2 turnovers now to go along with their 6 assists. So they've taken care of the ball. They've knocked down big shots. But now that's 2 in a row, three-point-wise for Team Fredette. This team is trying to figure out how to score the basketball without the services of Jimmer Fredette that they had a year ago.
Jeff Ledbetter hits the three, and now an offensive foul on Jordan Hamilton. That's his second personal.
It's 2 consecutive turnovers. Only had 1 the entire first quarter, and now 2 here early in the second. We're only 33 seconds in. Little elbow extension. And Tide's starting to turn a little bit. Team Fredette still behind quite a bit with 2 straight threes, and they forced 2 turnovers.
Corner 3 on the way. Ledbetter. 2 to open up the second quarter.
Started out 0 for 9, now to 3 of 3 since.
Had the wrong guy taking him, needed Ledbetter. Now an answer on the other end, Bruce Massey. Drive, and the bucket won't go, but free throws coming for Team Fredette. Jeff Ledbetter, who's hit those 2 threes for Team Fredette, number 8. Averaged 13 points in the G League this last season, was a 41% three-point shooter. Pretty impressive for the 31-year-old out of Idaho.
Yeah, and Ledbetter has become one of the better steals artists in the TBT. 3rd all-time at just over 2.5 a game. That was last year playing for Team Fredette.
Much better start here in the second quarter for Team Fredette. Much more active on defense. They still do trail it by 10. But they're +5 in the first minute 15 or so of this second quarter. Bland, NBA range, couldn't get it to go. Collision on the rebound, no call. The loose ball handled by Team Fredette. Ledbetter kicks it off. Gray for 3. Now a tie-up forced by Ledbetter. And a whistle before the bucket. It's going to be a foul on Jerome Dyson.
Oh, interesting to notice. CitiTeam Blazers have 3 fouls already here. There it is right there. It's the second one here in the second quarter. Already have 3 team fouls. Remember, when you get to 5, it's automatically 2 free throws once the 5th foul happens in a quarter. Team Fredette, no fouls thus far.
Nice job on the inbounds play. Steve Zach wide open underneath.
He really used his body well. His strength, shields the ball. Well, there's the first foul. It's going to be on Ledbetter. Anytime you let somebody drive middle, usually that ends up happening.
Well, they were down by 15 to start the second quarter. Less than 2 minutes in, they've cut it down to 8. Malcolm Thomas had 9 points in the first quarter, dishes it off to Massey, who floats it in.
You know, Massey's one of those rare players that can score anywhere on the floor. Paint, outside the 3, at a high clip.
Corner 3 on the way. Jordan Crawford unable to put it through. Blazers on the run out. And ball's deflected, stolen away. Numbers for Team Fredette. Gray trying to do it himself with the right hand.
All started with the deflection and steal by Steve Zach, who ran the ball up the floor beyond half court to make the play and dish.
Timeout, CitiTeam Blazers. Their leads have effectively been cut in half here. Jimmer Fredette's squad on a run to start quarter number 2. We're going to go inside the huddle now. CitiTeam Blazers and their head coach Rod Shannon.
It's our turn now. They have a run. It's our turn. Hey, let's keep attacking the paint. Attack them. They don't want that smoke. Let's go. He's not looking to score. He's looking to drive and kick. He gonna go on the shooter, lay it there. Nah, I got it. Let him stand the front. They got to shoot it there. I'll say, Robert, come on, they can roll. Stay home. They can finish one time. He getting there, he's doing the rondo, I'm trying to kick back out. Just keep attacking, fellas. Hey, don't jump on Crawford. You shoot on top of y'all and make it. Fucking live with it. Who wants it out this break? Who wants to make a play right out this break? All right. Go.
In the Huddle is presented by Puma Basketball. City Team Blazers, a Drew League championship squad. A lot of people have heard about the Drew League. They think of James Harden and Kevin Durant and Kobe Bryant coming during summer and playing in some of those legendary games. But the Drew League itself is a little bit different, and yet the quality of basketball doesn't drop off too far from those big names I just brought up.
And, you know, there's big names that play in the Drew League, but in any given week, and you could go to any game in the Drew League, you're going to find somebody that's playing high level overseas or have played some years in the NBA. It's a lot like what you're seeing right now in the TBT. I mean, the City Team Blazers is just one team. The LA Cheaters is just another team that we saw earlier today. Both of them have NBA talent on that roster. And you see that all the time when you go to the Drew League. It's pretty fun to watch those games play.
Team Fredette flying to the basketball. The steal. Gray into the lane. Muscles his way up. Missed it. Same with the tip slam. Blazers dodge a bullet there. Traveling called on Jordan Hamilton. He didn't think so.
Jordan Hamilton is trying to say, hey, I took 2 steps and then I passed. That's legal. And he's just asking for an explanation from the official. Jordan Hamilton, I mean, he is a competitor. I remember watching him play last year. He was a true competitor.
3 rattles in and out. Blazers have gone cold here. Turnovers on their last 3 possessions. Now a miss. That's 4 straight empty possessions for the City Team Blazers. James from distance. Left it short. Now scrum for the rebound. And it'll be a jump ball. Arrow favors Team Fredette. Jimmer Fredette on the bench right now. He's kind of taking the front position ahead of Dave Rose.
There he is. He's getting his feet wet and being a coach. If he's half the coach he is as he is as a player, he's going to be pretty outstanding. Oh, that was too easy of a lane.
Zach will go to the line. Steve Zach, 26 years old, out of LaSalle. 3rd year playing in TBT, first with Team Fredette.
Both these, it's very easy. I think he should have gone up right there. I think he dribbled too much, and then he hesitated once he got down there. He took himself too far under the basket. I don't think he couldn't believe that he was so wide open.
Goes 1 for 2. 35-28 the score. City Team Blazers haven't really been getting shots up. They've got 4 turnovers in the last 2 minutes.
That's why Team Fredette's starting to crawl back in the game. That's good help side rotation by Team Fredette. Oftentimes you can front the post if you're undersized. Stand in front of the guy trying to post up on you, and then if they have to, only way they can get him the ball is by a lob. And if you have great help side rotation like that, then you can potentially get a steal.
Should have been 5 turnovers. But the Blazers get a second chance. Jeff Adrian fading away. Tip is there. Malcolm Thomas has 11. Thomas, another guy with a lot of NBA time. Horton. Rebound to the Blazers. Great look underneath. Adrian with the finish. Pretty pass from Kyle Gibson.
They're so talented all the way around. I mean, they got guys that can finish, guys that can shoot, guys that can post and rebound and defend and block shots, get steals. I mean, they are as balanced a team thus far in the second quarter that we've seen all day here in the Salt Lake City Regional.
Back to a double-digit advantage for City Team Blazers, trying to win the first of what they hope will be 6 games on their way to the $2 million winner-take-all grand prize at the end of this tournament. which is at a totally different level here in 2019 than it was even last year, let alone 3-4 years ago. No more of these neighborhood teams of guys who maybe played together in high school and didn't go beyond that. It's all professional caliber players, either active pros, guys with recent NBA time who have gone overseas. It's very special.
Well, get this, Sam. 73 players in the 2019 TBT with NBA experience. So 64 of them are currently playing. 8 of them are coaches, like Darren Collison, NBA player who's coach, and one's a GM. And that's an and one.
And one opportunity, Kyle Gibson. The hoop plus the harm.
On the flip side, you have 23 players who just finished Division I, just graduated college. Then you got guys that are first-year TV teams and over 20 alumni teams.
Stars are out tonight. City Team Blazers up 15. Throughout the basketball tournament, you'll see some of the most original uniforms in sports. Be sure to check them out over at tbtgear.com and treat yourself to some official TBT apparel. A lot of fans here in favor of the Big F of Team Fredette. City Team Blazers looking good. And they're kind of dark gray. I like the little tiger stripes along there as well.
I like
nice
it.
unis.
All these uniforms are nice. That's what I like about it. Every year, I mean, everybody likes gear. Everybody likes good uniforms. There's a lot of good uniforms in the TBT.
City Team Blazers the lead. They're the 6th seed against the 3 seed here, Team Fredette. But interesting to note, ESPN ranked every team in the bracket 1 to 64, and they ranked City Team Blazers ahead of Team Fredette.
Different people voting. You know, it's kind of like, look at the NCAA tournament. You have certain teams seeded certain things, but then you also have the AP poll with the national rankings. It's similar. Both groups take different things into account.
Gray, a deep 2 from the corner, drops it through. 12 points now for Rob Gray, the recent Houston star.
Each game today, we've seen a little bit more of a lead for a team in each game, has it not? Game 1 was as close as can be. Game 2 was just about as close, but it wasn't as close throughout the course of the game. Game 3, a little bit of a lead. And now you got a 15-point lead by City Team Blazers.
And they've maintained it around this area for most of this first half.
I mean, this is the most well-balanced squad I've seen yet in this region as far as their performance today.
Foul's going to go on the rebound on City Team Blazers.
See, looked like Jeff Adrian might have had a little elbow to the throat of Steve
take a
Sack.
look at it.
But the cool thing is, they just dabbed up to each other and said, hey, it's cool. It wasn't done on purpose. Well, they're going to take a look at it, yeah. I mean, what would they call in this case? Potential flagrant?
For Team Fredette, you're looking for anything that can kind of energize your squad. They had a little bit of a run, but part of it, even though they did get some better three-point shooting here in the second quarter, part of it was just City Team Blazers got really loose. They were turning the ball over frequently, and they went on like an 8-0 run into the mandatory timeout and balloon that lead right back. But this is a situation here, flagrant fouls.
Yep.
They can energize a squad.
I've got a piece of Steve Zack, Jeff Adrian. Steve Zack didn't play the last couple of years in the TBT, but I remember he played for 20th and only team a few years back in 2015 and in 2016. Always good for 7-8 rebounds a game.
Officials talking it over. Our fourth and final opening round matchup here in Salt Lake City. City Team Blazers with a 15-point lead will get an explanation here. And And it's going to be ruled a flagrant 1 foul on Adrian.
Deemed excessive and unnecessary.
So free throws plus the ball here for Team Fredette. That goes 1 for 2. 45-31, City Team Blazers with the lead. Jeff Adrian and Malcolm Thomas both in double figures for the squad in black. Gray rims out the 3. Got less than 3 minutes to play in the half. City Team Blazers trying to make it 2 for 2 for the Drew League and 0 for 4 for teams with Utah roots in this Salt Lake City Regional.
It's not good for the home crowd.
Sharma passed up a 3 and then throws it away.
It's going to be a backcourt violation. Now when it rains, it pours. You wonder if Team Fredette will try to throw in something different. They've been playing man-to-man. They're almost about to get 50 points scored on them here in the first half. Do they go zone? Do we see some sort of zone just to try to switch it up against this team? Now, the problem with that is they got so much length, it's going to be easier for City Team Blazers to rebound offensively. But they're not going to be able to win this game if they can't put the ball in the hole.
Gray trying a nifty dish there that Steve Zach was unable to handle. Under 2 minutes to play in the half. It's been all City Team Blazers, shooting 56% from the field. Jeff Adrian will get back to the line again.
I mean, what a great addition to City Team Blazers. Jeff Adrian with his first year playing in the TBT. Talked about all his success at UConn's first team all-conference and 2009 Final Four appearance and third all-time in rebounds there. But how about his scoring prowess? I mean, he's played 5 years in the NBA.
Foul on the rebound. This is going to go on Jordan Crawford. I mean, there was certainly a lot of hype around Team Fredette when it came together, but a lot of that was based on the fact that Jimmer was involved with the team.
Right.
Many thought would be on the team. Another big name that we have not seen much at all is Tyler Hawes. TBT rookie, but he's BYU's all-time leading scorer. He's barely played.
That's a great point. And he was a late addition to the roster. But I would like to see him get in there and mix it up a little bit. Average at BYU, Tyler Hawes, you're talking about 22 points per game, or between 21 and 23 over a 3-year stretch. And actually surpassed Jimmer Fredette as the BYU's all-time leading scorer, as you mentioned earlier.
There's Jeff Adrian with a dunk attempt. Turns into a hoop and a harm. Gets the rebound, puts it back, and says hello to the fans watching at home. $13 for Jeff Adrian. And the lead is 18, largest of the evening for City Team Blazers. And there's a lot of high college experience, really good scorers, good shooters on this Team Fredette side. They just can't seem to keep up.
Yeah, I think they've ran into a terrific ball club in City Team Blazers. This team seems improved from what they were a year ago. And the Blazers, you know, last year was their first year playing. Played in the West Regional in Los Angeles. They lost to Team Challenge ALS. But this team looks really good. It's deep. It's balanced. They've got some players, adding Jeff Adrian. What a welcome addition. Jordan Hamilton. Those two guys can really fill it up.
Jeff Adrian again, 15 here for him in the first half. As we approach 30 seconds left in this opening half of play. Our final opening round game from Salt Lake City, and the Blazers are pouring it on. Dyson will go to the line.
This is the first about 20-point lead we've seen all day.
Jerome Dyson, another guy with NBA time. 32-year-old out of UConn.
Played on a pair of 10-day contracts back in 2011. But big time in the TBT 2 years ago. 6 assists per game to go along with 10 points for the City team.
Lead is 21. Fredette can go for the final possession. They just need any quality look. Anything positive in the locker room would be welcome. Gray into the lane, and he'll lay it in. 14 for the TBT rookie. A bright spot for Team Fredette in a first half that's had few of them. City Team Blazers are blowing them out 54-36. Jeff Adrian with 15 points. Malcolm Thomas is 15. Blazers are on a roll. Team Fredette going to be looking for answers. Maybe looking for a Team Fredette uniform for Jimmer. Halftime coming up next from Salt Lake City. City Team Blazers a 54-36 lead over Team Fredette. Our first real blowout potential game in this Salt Lake City regional. Everything else has been really, really tight, but this one has somewhat gotten away from Team Fredette. Still, they've got a half of basketball left to try and make a comeback. Here's a look at what happened in the Wichita regional. Self-made, the Kansas alumni squad, rocked by sideline cancer. Self-made was really one of the favorites, not just in that bracket, but overall. Meanwhile, Aftershocks, who trailed early against Iowa United, comes back in front of the home crowd, and they move on to round 2.
Couldn't let that home crowd down. It's an impressive comeback that they made. Sideline Cancer, one of the original TBT teams, blowing out the Kansas squad. But that Wichita regional, a very strong regional, maybe just as strong as the Salt Lake City one.
And tomorrow, a couple more really good teams. Golden Eagles, the 1 seed there. They're a Marquette alumni squad. Team Colorado, Buffalo alumni. They're purple and black. Those are Kansas State alums. Some really good teams still to be seen, trying to win that Wichita regional, move into this Chicago bracket. This is going to be the final 8 teams. Our winner here from Salt Lake will take on the Ohio State alumni group, Carmen's Crew. Aaron Kraft, who I believe spent a decade in Columbus, was part of that team, and he'll lead them on. Loyalty is love. Head coach DeMarcus Cousins, 95 points per game. They're the best offensive group that we've seen so far. Team Hines, very good. They scored the win in Greensboro, beating CP3's team. And then, of course, the Jackson, Tennessee underdogs, the 8 seed made it into the final 8 teams in the tournament.
That's awesome. That's really incredible. And, you know, you see a team like the City Team Blazers, they're the lowest seed still available here in the Salt Lake City Regional. Wouldn't be surprised to see them take over in the Salt Lake winter to play the Carmen's Crew next week.
Should be a great championship week starting 1 week from today in Chicago, Illinois. Who will emerge from this Salt Lake City bracket? Well, we got one team left to move into round 2. City Team Blazers up 18 at the half. Back here in Salt Lake City, where it's our final of 4 opening round matchups, and it's been all City Team Blazers so far, leading by 19 over Team Fredette. Alongside former NCAA head coach Richie Schuler, Sam Farber back here with you. Richie, coming into this entire bracket, Jimmer Fredette was the biggest name, the biggest draw for the whole tournament, but it's been the big names for the City Team Blazers, a couple of their NBA veterans who are making a big impression on this bracket, maybe showing themselves to be the favorites moving forward.
City Team Blazers look like a $2 million team right now. I know it's just the first round, but they are looking sharp. They look like they could be the strongest team here in the Salt Lake City Regional. Jimmer Fredette could be used for Team Fredette right now. They certainly need him because they're having a hard time scoring the basketball.
As we take a look at the highlights, City Team Blazers coming in here, a Drew League mainstay with some NBA star power on it, and they just came out on fire. Didn't help much that Team Fredette missed their first 9 threes, but Jeff Adrian went to work right from go.
I mean, he's been terrific. Jeff Adrian with 15 points, 3-point shot there. On the other end, Team Fredette looked good early on, but then it slowly got away from him. Jordan Hamilton passes out of the paint, another 3-point shot. This team, City Team Blazers, 7 of 20 from behind the arc, good for 35%. Rob Gray making plays happen on the other end for this team. Fredette, he has 14 points. But I tell you what, City Team Blazers just too strong, taking care of the basketball, 10 assists to 8 turnovers, and they've completely out-rebounded Team Fredette by 24 rebounds to 18.
And when you look at both teams' rosters, it's not like there's all this star power on one side, none for Team Fredette. You've got guys that have been elite scorers in college and as pros. Certainly they'd love to have a guy like Jimmer Fredette, but they've just been owned by Jeff Adrian, Malcolm Thomas. Even Jordan Hamilton, without scoring the ball, has had a significant impact. Points in the paint, rebounds. Those really stand out as the strengths for City Team Blazers.
Absolutely, and that's their athleticism. That's their strength. That's getting rebounds and putbacks and getting down inside at will. The 3 of 19 from behind the arc for Team Fredette is a big part of the reason why they're struggling. They've got to make shots to be able to compete with this very much more athletic and longer team. And they're not. And credit the Blazers defense for partially making that happen. But, it's just too much right now. The City Team Blazers are playing outstanding basketball, and they're really making a nightmare for Team Fredette.
We have checked, and Jimmer is not in uniform. So they're going to roll with the guys they brought. Team Fredette trailing by 19, trailed by as many as 20 in that first half. Right away, it's one of the NBA veterans, Malcolm Thomas, going to work. Hands off to Adrian, who runs the baseline. A monster jam.
Unbelievable. 17 points on 7 of 11 shooting.
Answer on the other end for Team Fredette, but they can't exactly afford to exchange buckets. City Team Blazers shooting 57%. And a 3 goes down. Kyle Gibson hits his second of the contest.
Kyle Gibson, father's a legendary head coach at Dorsey High School in Los Angeles. His brother coaches at the Naval Academy. Gibson that hit that last 3-point shot for the Blazers, coming from a very strong basketball family.
(59-40) City Team Blazers. Trying to make it 2 for 2 for the Drew League. Once upon a time, maybe a basketball generation or two ago, Rucker Park was considered like really the mecca of non-NBA places for big-time talent to show up. And now the Drew League, I think, has become that.
Yeah, I think so. It's got to be one of the best summer leagues in the nation. It's top 3. It's Jordan Hamilton, though. You talk about basketball family. His older brother, Jerry, been playing overseas for 12, 13 years. His younger brother, Isaac Hamilton, was a top 5 recruit out of high school. He ended up playing for the Bruins at UCLA.
There's a look at Jordan Hamilton's winning share, which will be sent with Zell. His younger brother was supposed to play for Sons of Westwood.
Well, he also has another brother, the youngest brother of his, Daniel Hamilton. Played at UConn and also played for the Hawks this season.
Yep.
Los Angeles basketball royalty.
Fancy lay in there. Rob Gray with 18. But he has really been the lone highlight player for Team Fredette. Hamilton going to work. And a whistle. Going the other way on the travel.
I thought Ledbetter did a pretty good job guarding Hamilton there. Kept him in front. Hamilton's bigger, stronger, taller. And resulted in the turnover for the Blazers.
Ledbetter is finding the range.
Smooth. Played in the G League last year for the Austin Spurs.
Shot 41% from 3 at that level. And here he's shooting 66%. Travel again. Certainly like that the Blazers are playing with this level of energy. Adrian and Hamilton both upset being called for travels. They're into it. But you got to find that line, too.
Right.
Those two being such accomplished pros, they know it all too well. Another three. Uh-oh.
Ledbetter heating up. Great story on Jeff Ledbetter when playing overseas one time. Talked about how he had played his big rival on the road. They beat their rival on the road, and after the game, fans were throwing beers at him. Beers as he was running off the court, so he decided to just catch one of the beers, chugged it right in front of him, and then just ran off the court into the locker room. International basketball, there's always crazy things happening. It's not quite as secure sometimes when you're playing in those arenas.
I think we had some technicals called here.
Well, Hamilton did kind of nudge Ledbetter there, and they've been going at it a little bit here in the second half. Ledbetter's playing well. Ledbetter's coming off a good season in the G League. Hamilton's a competitor. He's played in Italy this past year. Had played for played 5 seasons in the NBA. 4 different teams. I mean, these are 2 talented basketball players, and you're seeing Team Fredette start to make a little bit of a run. Ledbetter taking the place of Jimmer Fredette right now, hitting some tough 3-point shots.
We're going to take a look at this one. You see if they think Ledbetter embellished a little bit or if it even matters. Sometimes if you're making contact, the ball's not near you. You're just making contact to make contact. That could be enough whether there's some enthusiasm put into the receiving end or not.
Well, it'd be huge for Team Fredette. See what the official says. He's coming this way.
So it's going to be a technical foul, 2 shots plus the ball. Jordan Hamilton picking up the technical. And that's 4 fouls now on Hamilton. So Ledbetter to the line, 2 shots plus the basketball.
Well, that's a break. You should get 2 points here, then you get the ball right back. And they need everything they can get. They were just down by 20 plus.
Down to 12 now.
Fredette making a run. At halftime, CitiTeam Blazers had 54.
They made up 8 points in 3 minutes. So they're on pace to make this comeback. Ledbetter kept it in the holster that time. Gray dishes it off. Ledbetter way downtown. Little short.
Double dribble. There's been a lot of unnecessary turnovers by the CitiTeam Blazers coming out of the locker room. Got to get this right because, I mean, Team Fredette's starting to make some shots. They're knocking down stuff. They don't get hot.
The one time the Blazers hit a lull, it wasn't that they were missing shots. They weren't getting to attempt them. They kept turning the ball over, and Team Fredette started to connect. Crawford hits a 3. Down to a single-digit deficit.
Wow.
We'll put it right back up there. Jerome Dyson answers.
Unbelievable. That was way downtown.
That was needed. It's a 13-2 run. up till that three. Now another one goes down. Helpful bounce.
Safe to say Team Fredette's got some confidence now, and the crowd's starting to get behind them.
Back down to a single-digit deficit, 65-56. Adrian, nice pass to him from Thomas on the cut, but couldn't connect. Team Fredette on the run out. Crawford, stop and go move, lost it midair. Able to dish it off to Gray, who will lay it in.
Wow. Some perimeter players for Team Fredette are coming alive. Gray, Crawford, Ledbetter making plays here in the third quarter.
Fall away jumper, gets the bounce. Gibson into double figures. There's another three. Whatever they did in the locker room, it worked. (67-61). Gibson trying to answer again, and he gets another bounce.
They've gotten 2 or 3 bounces here in City Team Blazers. As of the last 2 shots did, and Crawford hit a 3 from the corner. That got a bounce as well.
Now a foul, and a good one to give up if you're City Team Blazers. Bruce Massey will make them earn it at the line. 3:31 left in the third quarter. It was a 20-point deficit at halftime. It's down to single digits now thanks to the sharpshooters.
Jordan Crawford, Jeff Ledbetter making some critical threes here down the stretch. Well done by Team Fredette, trying to make the comeback.
Back here in Salt Lake City, City Team Blazers once led by 20. Here's a look at how they would share their $2 million sent with Zell. Everyone across the board getting an equal share of the $2 million if they're able to win 6. 3 here and 3 more in Chicago. Sam Farber, Richie Schuler here with you. It looked like City Team Blazers at least had number 1 in the bag. They were up by 20 at halftime, but this Team Fredette side that missed their first 9 threes out of the gates, 3 of 19 the whole first half, 6 for 8 in the first 5.5 minutes of the second half. They must just like shooting that way.
It must be. City Team Blazers had the most complete first half of any team in this regional thus far in the first half, offensively and defensively. But they've kind of given that up a little bit, and so they're going to have to fight this. Clearly, Team Fredette has made a strong run, and so, City Team Blazers has the ability to do it. They've just got to regroup and figure out their way.
And they're not playing badly. They're 6 for 9 in the second half. They're shooting a great percentage. They are turning the ball over a little bit more, but 6 for 9 from the field, and your lead's been cut into by 11.
Right.
That's hard to do.
Well, Team Fredette's making some big shots too. But the defense that they had in the first half, taking away some of those good looks. Now they're giving away a lot of good looks.
Steve Zach goes 2 for 2, and the deficit drops down to 7. Three ball on the way from Dyson, yes. His second triple here in the second half. And a bump's going to be called here on Dyson. That's his third. 73-63, City Team Blazers still in control. Crawford the lob, reverse jam attempted by Steve Zach, but a little too much traffic around him. Dyson steps into the 3. And over the back's going to be called here against Thomas for City Team Blazers. Landed on top of Crawford. I'm not sure why he's asking about that one.
They're competitors, man. They're competitors.
That's 5 fouls on the Blazers, so free throws here for Jordan Crawford. Thomas is still arguing his case. I mean, he clearly came down on top of Crawford. I'm not sure if I missed something on where they were during takeoff.
You know, just based on what you've seen today, you know, we know Team Challenge ALS is really good. Runner-up TBT a couple years ago, Everline Drive, runner-up last year TBT. LA Cheaters looked really good from the Drew League last game, and then you got this team here, CitiTeam Blazers, who are in control and may have taken Team Fredette's best shot here in the second half of their comeback, so they just got to hold on. And you look at these, you know, just think about those 4 teams I just mentioned. Which team comes out? They flip a coin, right? Put their names in a hat, shake it up, and pull one out.
Offensive foul now on CitiTeam Blazers. I think in terms of most dominating, it has been CitiTeam Blazers, but they've also had the most lapses where they just start turning the ball over or just get loose that we haven't seen from the other 3 teams you mentioned. Crawford, nice stop and go. 14 for Crawford, 12 here in this third quarter, and it's down to a 7-point game. Offensive foul again.
On Dyson. CitiTeam Blazers, they play, oh, watch this right here. Dyson going to get control, get in position, and Crawford does a great job of acting out that fall so the official sees in the side of his eye, not looking at the 2 players directly. Somebody getting hit and falling to the ground.
73 to 66. Team Fredette trailed by almost 20. Let's listen in to their huddle.
He's kept that screen. You were up on it every time because, like we said, we got 1 foul. So if we take one, it's okay, but be aggressive. We get a steal like that. We get fun. Let's go.
So who's the coach, Jimmy Fredette or Dave Rose?
Team Fredette.
I think it's cool to have Coach Rose involved. I'm sure he's had his part, but Jimmy Fredette has been very active today on the sideline, which is awesome to see. Both of them been active.
It's not necessarily a shock that Team Fredette has cut into this lead and made it a single-digit deficit. It is surprising it only took them 6 minutes. Trying to get a little closer here. Ledbetter falling away from 3. That one was on target.
What Jimmer was telling his players was that be aggressive. I believe he was talking about guarding ball screens. He's like, we only have 1 foul. So it's not the end of the world. Don't foul, but be aggressive. If you foul, it's not the end of the world. And I will say, CitiTeam Blazers has some guys that they're feisty now. And they're talking to the other team. The jerseys in white, they're talking to the officials. And they play with a little bit of that edge, which if that gets out of control could result, you know, some technical foul calls.
I've already seen a couple.
And I've seen numerous players for CitiTeam Blazers be a little extra aggressive, a little extra. Look, right now, even look at Ledbetter being talked to by Malcolm Thomas at the free throw line. Well, see, now they're kind of joking around a little bit, but there has been some feistiness between players.
Thomas, all 15 of his points came in the first half. On the board here in half number 2. It's an 8-point lead for CitiTeam Blazers. Our first 2 games were instant classics for TBT. Third one wasn't bad. Challenge ALS able to grind out a victory. But this one could be extra special. Gray, his first 3-pointer of the game. Fouls on Kenneth Horton, his 4th. Only the 3rd team foul, so no free throws yet. It's a 2-possession game, Richie.
It's crazy. If Team Fredette makes a comeback here and ends up winning the game, this is going to be the biggest colossal collapse I've seen yet in the games I've worked in the TBT. However, we did see a major comeback by the Wichita State team today, didn't we? In the Wichita bracket. They came back and won by double digits after being down big. 15 points or so.
Thomas missed on the first try, goes up again, no. 3rd time, swatted away from behind by Horton. And now a steal. Here comes Gray. Gray gets it to go. This is a 1-possession game, Richie.
Unbelievable. What were they up, 21, 22?
They have a chance to make up a 20-point deficit in a 9-minute quarter. Bland connects the 3.
Just give Bland the ball. Best shooter in UC Riverside history.
Gray lobs it out. Cycle it back out, corner 3. Turning after firing before it went down. Jordan Crawford pulling a Steph Curry act.
Crawford always seems to get open in that corner or wing. Anytime a post player gets the ball, in that case Steve Zach, Crawford finds a way to relocate to an open spot in the corner.
He turned his back before the shot went down.
Good thing it wasn't like Nick Young and it missed.
He is feeling it. Miss for the Blazers. Team Fredette won't get the shot off before the quarter ends, but what a quarter it was. From down 18 at half to down 3 heading to the 4th quarter.
Back and forth 3-pointers. Jalen Bland just took that lead there with that one. Look at this. Steve Zach kicking it out to the corner. Crawford with another 3-point shot. We got a ball game, Sam.
TBT 2019, the $2 million winner-take-all basketball tournament is presented by Puma Basketball. We've got another good one for you here just outside of Salt Lake City. Sam Farber and Richie Schuler watching our 4th and final opening round game. First half, CitiTeam Blazers was up 20. They look like a $2 million team, at least that's what you've called them.
Yep.
They've had too many problems trying to stop Team Fredette in that 3rd quarter. And we've got a 1-possession game as we get set to start the 4th.
Well, here's the deal. Team Fredette had 0 turnovers in the 3rd quarter. They had 7 in the first half. They also were 3 of 19 from behind the arc in the first half. You know what they were in the second? I'm sorry, the 3rd quarter. 8 of 11. 8
in
threes.
particular, Jordan Crawford and Jeff Ledbetter were just on fire.
They hit a total of 7 together. 8 3-pointers in the 3rd.
Turnover there. Zach trying to find Crawford in the corner. It's taken away by Massey. Bland now transition 3 is short. And a rebound controlled by Team Fredette. Now Team Fredette turns it right back the other way. Malcolm Thomas, reverse lay-in, rims out. And it's last touched by the Blazers.
We've seen Jordan Hamilton for the CitiTeam Blazers out for an extended period of time. He only has 4 fouls. Must be a coach's decision to keep him out.
Well, they did pick up the technical.
Right? Since he's left the game, that comeback may have been already going. But now it's down to a 1-possession lead without him in.
Jordan Crawford will bring it up, the 5'6" point guard out of Bowling Green. Into the corner, this for a tie. An offensive board, Ledbetter. He's fouled on a 3-point attempt. He could tie it at the line.
And we're not giving Steve Zach, the big man in the middle for Team Fredette, enough credit.
just got his 8th rebound there. He's been really good on defense. He's only taken 3 field goal attempts, but he has been there doing the little things, rebounds, good solid defensive play. Things that don't show up in the stat sheet as well.
For the tie. Jeff Ledbetter hits them all. We're all even at 77. Jordan Hamilton will come back on the floor for Jeff Adrian.
And they're really lethal when both those guys are in the game together. So you know what the coach is doing. The coach is trying to give Adrian a blow, but he'll get him back in, so they're playing together here before long.
They're going to call a block here on Crawford. I think I agree with that one. He was being a little too aggressive looking for the charge.
It's like an annoying little pest. He's being a pest, which is great. He's giving Dyson problems, but then he put his body a little too close to Dyson, and that's where the blocking foul is called.
4th personal.
He's only 5'6". Jordan Crawford on defense, number 0 for Team Fredette.
Hamilton on the pass, a foul is called. It's going to go on Kenneth Horton. That's his 5th personal. 7:45 left. Remember, the Elam ending kicks in. First dead ball after the 4-minute mark.
And the Elam ending in its 2nd year has reduced time, reduces team stalling at the end, fouling at the end of games. So what are we going to do, Sam? First dead ball after 4 minutes, stop the clock. Whoever's got the lead, we're going to add 8 points to that score, and that is the Elam ending target score. Clock is turned off, shot clock still goes. But there's no playing the clock. It's playing the target score. We'll see after the 4-minute mark. It's going to be on Rob Gray on defense. Him and Dyson knocked over to the ground, so they're calling that a defensive foul. So the bonus really comes into play in the Elam ending, because at some point, there's no clock, so you just got to get to that target score. That's 3 team fouls on Team Fredette. 2 more, and it's 2 free throws for CitiTeam Blazers.
Still tied at 77. CitiTeam Blazers have struggled to just get shots off in the second half at times. And now an offensive foul.
I like it. It's a great call. It's a great call. Kyle Gibson extended his arm. That's an offensive foul. So how are the CitiTeam Blazers going to respond to this? They blew a 22-point lead. They don't seem to have the fire they had before. Look at this.
It's a lead for Team Fredette. Unbelievable.
Picking up the defense full court. That didn't last long.
Swings right back to the Blazers on Dyson's 3.
So many scores on this CitiTeam Blazers squad.
Gray can't answer. Rebound controlled by Hamilton. We thought we had a dud for our finale. It might be the best game yet. Here's a lob and the jam.
The Houston brothers, 2 guys that both played for the University of Houston. Wait a second. Those first 2 games came down to both teams tied with 1 point to the target score in the Elam ending, and you're saying this might be the best game.
Could be. Certainly the best comeback. Crawford, heat check. Rebound by Hamilton. Trying to go down low. Ball was deflected, but still controlled by the Blazers, who trail by 1. Dyson, another deep ball.
And every time he makes a 3, these last 2 shots, he puts the gun back in the holster after he knocks down the 3. Shoots with confidence. It's calm, cool, collective.
All of his points in the second half have been on threes. Now another turnover.
Bad pass.
Dyson thought about it, gives it up. Better look for Gibson. And off the miss, an offensive board for Thomas. Kick it outside, and there's a three for Bland.
How about that? Fredette took the lead in 3 straight threes by the CitiTeam Blazers.
5-point lead, 86-81. And there's a bucket. Hard earned by Devontae Pollard.
About a minute and a half away.
Float the pass down to Gibson, who's trying to back down Crawford. Has to be careful. Crawford's shown a good ability to draw charging fouls. Got the miss. But an offensive board.
6-2 on 5-6.
And a foul's going to go on Crawford. I believe that's his 5th. As hot as he's been in the second half, he's going to have to be careful. Timeout, Team Fredette. 5:09 on the clock means we're a minute away from the Elam ending, just over a minute away from that 8-point addition to the leading team score to give us our target number. TheTournament.com is your place for all things TBT. Follow your favorite team throughout the tournament and be sure to check the schedule for week 2 of TBT. Make that week 3 of TBT regional competition. It'll be out in Chicago. It'll be the championship. And it might be one of these teams that makes it. You know, early on we were saying CitiTeam Blazers was the most impressive group we'd seen here in Salt Lake City. If Team Fredette completes this comeback, I don't see any team that is unbeatable for them.
No. I mean, CitiTeam Blazers had the best first half collectively we've seen yet. Offensively, defensively. But they have not followed that up with the second half. Not showing consistency. Well, the Elam ending is a minute and 9 seconds away from at least the time when that dead ball occurs after the 4-minute mark. It's a go.
Deep 2 won't go down. Adrian tried to tap the ball, and it was last touched by Zach for Team Fredette. CitiTeam Blazers is the call.
Well, let's look at it here. I mean, from the angle, it looked like it went off number 0, Jeff Adrian. Nevertheless, Blazers ball.
Blazers with a 3-point lead. And trying to buy some more time and maybe a different angle. Dyson just throws it off the feet of Rashad James. Gibson, step back 3, rattles out. Team Fredette, down 3, brings up the floor. Gray cuts inside, up and under.
It's a beautiful lefty. Beautiful left-hand play. So Rob Gray can really get to the rim, gets in the paint, and he's able to finish.
He was the only bright spot in the first half, and he might have had a better second one. And now a turnover going back the other way.
I don't know who's going to have the lead when it comes down to establishing the target score.
An unreal comeback.
22 points.
Team Fredette trailing by 1. Gray gets through all the way to the rim. Leaves it for the jam.
The fans from Utah here in Salt Lake City are hungry. Got to get 1 W for the state today. I like this. Jimmer Fredette and the legendary Dave Rose having some conversations. And Jimmer Fredette running some things by Coach Rose, becoming a coach in the making. Did you see that move in the pass? Rob Gray making plays when the defense collapsed on him. Dish it down to Pollard.
4:10 on the clock. very close to our Elam ending territory, and a timeout's going to be taken by CitiTeam Blazers.
So I'm thinking the reason they're calling this timeout, well, immediately, yeah, that triggers the Elam ending, does it not, Sam Farber?
I believe it's got to be under 4 minutes. So this would, ordinarily, it would trigger a media timeout. But I think under these circumstances, they'll continue to stretch. It has to be under 4 minutes for the Elam ending to take effect. And perhaps CitiTeam Blazers thinking, all right, this is our last possession before we get into that. We need to come up with our best play here, or at least have our best player taking the shot to make sure we've got that slight edge going into the Elam ending.
Okay. So normally it would trigger a media timeout, you know, when you call a timeout at this point in time, 30 seconds before the media timeout's supposed to occur, but not the Elam ending. So trying to get a lead. Here it is.
Gibson off the give and go, missed the shot, but the rebound goes out of bounds 2 seconds above the barrier for the Elam ending. So another look here for CitiTeam Blazers.
So if the Blazers score here, are they looking to try to force a deflection and steal, maybe pick up full court to try to extend the lead before the next dead ball, which triggers the Elam ending and the target score time?
Adrian, nice spin, gets the lay-in. So the Blazers are now in front. Next whistle will cue the Elam ending. Who's going to be in front when it starts? Pollard drives, lays it in, plus the foul. It's going to be Team Fredette on top. It's just how much.
All right, so what they're going to do here is they're supposed to clear the lane, just as if it's for a technical foul, to shoot this free throw. And that will begin the start of the Elam ending, depending on if Pollard makes this free throw or not. If he makes it, they'll have 90 points. The target score will be 98. If he misses it, it's going to be 97.
An absolutely unreal comeback. Team Fredette has scored 53 points in the last 14 minutes of game action.
Now look at Jimmer. Look at Jimmer being a coach. He's asking the officials. He's trying to move the chess pieces here. He's trying to find an advantage here. I think he's asking if he can burn a timeout right now.
No, you cannot.
He's trying to call a timeout, I think, to see if then that free throw would count towards
the Elam ending score.
Yeah, the 8 points in the target. But obviously it cannot. It has to be shot now. They'll put the target score up at 98. I like the gamesmanship by Jimmer, though. Look at that. Jimmer, I'm telling you, he's a coach in the making.
So the Elam ending kicks in. 98 the target score. Can Team Fredette complete the comeback? The Elam ending has supplied so much excitement so far here in Salt Lake City. First dead ball under 4 minutes. You stop the clock, just turn it off. You don't need it anymore. Add 8 to the leading team score, and that is your target for this contest. It's our highest of today's session here in Salt Lake City. 98 is the target number. At halftime, it was an 18-point lead for the CitiTeam Blazers. They were outright blowing out Team Fredette, but the third quarter and the first half of this fourth quarter has seen the tides turn, and now it is Team Fredette with the slight edge going in to this Elam ending phase.
We've seen a couple teams make some critical mistakes in the sense that they played differently when the clock turned off. Basketball is no different, in my opinion. The shot clock is still ticking. Play it like you're playing the shot clock. And that's where I think teams start looking at the score and figuring out how should they score. Just play basketball. You're going to score in rhythm. That's how you got the lead in the first place.
Adrian misses the mid-range jumper, and Team Fredette will try to pad its lead, move closer to that target score. The tip goes down. Nice job, Steve Zach.
This is crazy. We were just singing the praises less than an hour ago about how CitiTeam Blazers could go on and win this whole thing. It's Jekyll and Hyde between first and second half.
Adrian might have gotten away with a travel, missed the shot anyways. Team Fredette 6 points away, and with their three-point shooting prowess, that could be 2 possessions. Here's a lob, and a little bit off the leaping ability of Devontae Pollard. Team Fredette lucky to keep possession. As you mentioned, we've seen some teams in range just start to fire threes, and it didn't help them. There's one that's not necessarily a good shot, and Ledbetter leapt off the baseline. Goes back to the Blazers.
The swagger's not there for CitiTeam Blazers. This team is not, they don't look anything like they did in the first half. They look like they're going through the motions right now. The fire isn't there. The aggressiveness isn't there. I don't know what happened, but this is a completely different mentality for these Blazers right now.
Malcolm Thomas sees a triple team, gets rid of it to Gibson, who pulls up an off-angle three and somehow hits it. That was a tough shot. Now they're 7 away from the target score. Gray bumped, and that is just the 4th team foul, but the next one will result in free throws.
Both teams with 4 team fouls, so we got 2 free throws on every foul from here on out. These free throws will make a big difference down the stretch.
Gray missed the shot. Couldn't get the runner to fall.
Blazers take the lead here. So let Jeff Adrian go to work. There he is, posting up Ledbetter.
Gets position, and he'll head to the line. Only 4 points in the second half for Adrian. If there's one hole in his game tonight, it's been free throw shooting, just 2 for 5 from the stripe.
Well, this gym just got dead quiet, did it not?
Ties it at 92 with the friendly bounce.
If I'm the Blazers, Jeff Adrian's the man I want to have the ball in hands during critical times the rest of the game.
1 for 2. Both sides are 6 points away from round 2. And a chance to continue their journey towards the $2 million winner-take-all prize. Lob, and somehow it goes down for Pollard.
Gonna move. Blazers move the ball. It's one-on-one. The guy's had the ball in his hand for 6 seconds.
Dyson up and under, somehow gets it to go. Both teams 4 points away. Crawford cuts inside, and a foul is called. He's going to head to the line to shoot 2.
It's a good call. Bland grabbed him. That's 2 free throws now for Crawford.
Jordan Crawford, a career double-digit TBT score. He's well past that, 17 so far in this one. And 15 of them coming in the second half.
I like this Jordan Crawford, coming off a season playing in Germany last year. Last couple of years, at 10 points a game last year he averaged, but 2 years ago, 19, 6 boards and 5 assists he averaged in the TBT. Crawford plays with so much energy and leadership, and I'm not sure what's going on right now on the court, but players from CitiTeam Blazers talking to officials, the officials trying to calm them down. They're looking at the monitors, the other officials. Team Fredette just seems to be trying to rally their team together. Blazers look frustrated. The Blazers look frustrated. They're mad at each other.
I think they were asking who the foul is on.
It should be on Jalen Bland. If they're calling it after Crawford had started dribbling, it looked like it was on Bland. So yeah, Crawford's got his 2 free throws. And Blazers are in a serious funk right now. This is mentally, Fredette has an edge.
Crawford 3 for 4 today at the free throw line. Well, Team Fredette can now win this game in its next possession. Question is, will they need a 3 to do it?
Well, make or miss, the Blazers have 2 possessions. They don't need to go after a 3-point shot.
Rims out.
If I'm them, I'm pushing the ball up and I'm trying to get a layup off a ball screen. Here it is.
Dyson can't get it to go. Offensive board and free throws coming up for Malcolm Thomas.
So a time, wow, chance for the Blazers to take the lead.
Now my question for you, Coach Schuler.
Yes, sir.
You're 3 points away as Team Fredette. Do you go for the win on this next possession?
Well, I don't think there's anything wrong with going for the win as long as it's not a forced shot. You know, I think sometimes we've seen teams force 3-point shots when it wasn't necessary. So now that miss changes things. So if the Blazers make this, it's a tie ball game. I think you're safer going for it too now. You know what I'm saying? If the CitiTeam Blazers made both and they were 2 points away from winning, you probably, if you're Fredette, be a little more tempted to take that 3-point shot because that next possession could result in a win with the bucket from the Blazers. But now they're going to be down by 3.
Let's go inside the Fredette huddle, see what Coach Jimmer's thinking.
But men, give them minutes. You guys know the
Listen, draw it up. We don't have a board.
Here. Okay, so Jake Crow's got it here. Chad is here. Crow's right here. Have him set so he gets slipped. Here. And you are up here. Okay? So we're going to do pistol. You're going to hit me, I'm going to hit it right back. Okay? He's going to the bucket. Excuse me. Take that knock. Your hammer with here. Set screen. Jeff, to the corner. And if this is open, you have that slip in the bucket. Okay? Look, space out here. Okay? Space out.
You better use the head thing because they're coming hard on that 3.
And they're going to try to jump about the back. Hey, if he misses it, they can't win
Let's go, guys. Let's go.
So it sounds like a play with definitely a 3-point option, but not drawn up to be a 3-point or nothing else.
If it's available, you take it. But how about it? I mean, Jimmer Fredette is acting as the head coach in much of this game. It's almost a way for Dave Rose to continue mentoring Jimmer Fredette. He used to be as a player. Now he's mentoring to be a coach. Is Jimmer Fredette a future head coach at BYU?
Be a lot of happy fans in Provo. Thomas missed them both.
Wow.
Now Team Fredette can still win with the 3.
Well, that's nearly a foul. Look at that.
Crawford on the drive. Gives to Ledbetter. He has been lights out.
Shot clock's down to 8. Got to do something with the ball.
Gray the drive, and he'll lay it in easily.
Couldn't have been a better possession. They moved the ball well. CitiTeam Blazers lost their focus on defense, and Gray capitalized. It's 2 possessions for the Blazers. They don't need a 3-point shot.
They definitely need to score. Thomas fouled, back to the line.
So if you're the Blazers, you got to make at least one to have a chance of winning the next possession if they get the ball back. But it's critical if the second free throw is missed for Team Fredette to rebound that ball. Because the Blazers could win it right here. Let's say they make the first, miss the second, and then they pop a 3, game over. This is going to be the most important rebound of the game. I mean, this game could be over right here. If he misses and the Blazers get an open 3 because they got shooters out there, especially Dorsey, or Dyson, game over. No fouls on the other end if Fredette gets the ball. His 2 free throws gives Fredette 2 chances to win the game.
They both go down for Thomas. Blazers 2 points from the target score. Team Fredette 1 point away. What a game. Who's going to take it? Crawford for the win. Got it!
Unbelievable.
The most improbable comeback of TBT round 1. From down 20 to round 2. Team Fredette advances. Unbelievable. CitiTeam Blazers had it won. As dominant a first half as could possibly have been. And somehow Team Fredette gets it done. Jordan Crawford getting some space. And with ice in his veins, drills the jumper. Gray and Crawford, they did it together in the second half. They're going to do it together right here. (99-96) your final score. Team Fredette, a semifinalist a season ago, and they're going to go to the second round. They'll be back. And they'll have a shot against Team Challenge ALS. Jordan Crawford, 20 points. Second leading scorer on Team Fredette. And he's going to be standing by with our Richie Schuler in a moment. First, Jimmer Fredette needs some water. He was pretty excited when Crawford put that bucket down. I think Jimmer Fredette ran about as hard at Crawford as he has all this last season playing professionally overseas. It's just that kind of energy when you're talking about TBT. Let's go to Richie Schuler standing by with the man of the moment, Jordan Crawford.
Jordan, how about that comeback, man? You guys were down by 22 points. What did it take to get you guys over the hump and winning the Elam ending?
I think it just came with energy. We started off real slow, just going through the motions, and this is a dogfight. This whole tournament's a dogfight. You got to be grit and grind through it. So I think once we got things going and we picked up the tempo, it got much easier for us.
The state of Utah needed a team from Utah to win this basketball game. The other two didn't make it. Can this team go all the way into Chicago for championship week next week?
Of course. As long as we stay together and play hard as a team, you know, sky's the limit, you know. So as long as we stay together and keep playing, we'll take one game at a time and get ready for the next game.
What's it going to take to win that next game tomorrow?
We just got to play together and play with confidence. We got to get some rebounds. That killed us. We started picking it up on that. So just play together and we'll be fine.
Any final thoughts for anybody that's a Team Fredette fan?
Thanks for the support, and to God be the glory.
You the man.
Thank you.
Good job. Good luck.
Appreciate it.
All right.
Thank you.
Jordan Crawford, man of the hour. He hits that game winner and sets up a matchup with the defensive powerhouse Team Challenge ALS tomorrow. Also, we'll have Everline Drive and the LA Cheaters. Going to be another great day of basketball, but tonight, one to celebrate for Team Fredette. They take the 99-96 win over CitiTeam Blazers and are one step closer to a TBT title and $2 million. For now, for Richie Schuler and our entire crew, I'm Sam Farber saying it's been a pleasure and a privilege. Talk to you tomorrow for much, much more of the basketball tournament.